idea of the European Union.
In Malta.
And
the history of the Knights of St. James.
that went on. In Jerusalem, however, they started having problems with the Muslims. So they started to fight and defend themselves. So they also became a military order. Eventually they were sent out of Jerusalem by the Muslims, and they went to Acre, and then Cyprus, and then Rhodes. In Rhodes they spent 200 years. They became a financial power, a business power, a religious power, a military power, supported by kings, by queens, by the Pope. But in 1522, March 1522, Suleiman the Magnificent sent them out of Rhodes. And Malta was offered to them by Charles V of Spain. And they came here in 1530, March 1530. Immediately they started fortifying Malta because they were sure that the Turks were going to follow them to Malta. And they were right, because on the 12th of May 1565, a fleet of 35,000 soldiers, Turkish soldiers, came not only close to Malta but on Malta. And that was a siege. The Knights trying to send them out. Always the Knights crushed into a smaller area. Knights were dying, local people were dying. After 4 months, the Grand Master cried out for help. If you don't send me help, I will give up Malta. Baci. No, you have to go round from near Roman Villa and Tarfa down.
I'm Tarfa closer.
Closer. So, the Great Siege, what we call the Great Siege. Yes, and then we'll stop for a photo stop down, okay? The Great Siege lasted 4 months. After 4 months, help came from Europe, and the Turks decided to leave. Hallelujah, viva! The Grand Master responsible of this victory over the Turks was French. His name was Jean Parisot de Valette, and he wanted to build a new capital city. The city was built in 10 years because money was not a problem for the Knights. Manpower came from all over Europe, and Valletta was built and took the name of Grandmaster Jean Parisot de Valette. You see these buildings here on the left, they are from the period of Queen Victoria, who in 60 years never came to Malta. But we have several monuments to Queen Victoria. So we are still in Rabat. Beautiful balconies, look at the balconies, even the closed balconies. It's beautiful houses. The closed balconies were introduced in Malta by a Spanish Grand Master in 1650. He was from Mallorca. Surely he saw them in Muslim countries because they were balconies meant for women who were not supposed to socialize. From the balcony they had to watch what was going out on the street. Yes. So I think they were the first idea of Facebook. I call them the gossip balconies. But beautiful, huh? Made out of wood, different colors, but we can make them out of stone. And it's cheaper in stone than in wood, because stone is local, wood is imported. See, that's typically Maltese houses. Underground here on the right, all the way to where we were, Dingley, catacombs, underground cemeteries from Roman times, and the crypt of St. Paul. So this is the garden which separates Rabat from Medina. Now we will see the main entrance to Medina, the old capital, which can also be seen in the first season Game of Thrones. The King's Landing, which was screened in Malta first season, Game of Thrones. Inside in Medina, we can see it in films like Napoleon, like Count of Monte Cristo. So look at that entrance from 1724. See a ditch. Stop, so a second please. Okay, look at that.
Oh, beautiful.
Marked with the coat of arms of the Portuguese Grand Master. So the ditch down there is a dry ditch.
Wow.
And we are 230 meters above sea level, so no river, so this was always dry. See what was made out of the same stone. Okay?
Beautiful the gardens are here too. So come with us even more to Malta and the rest of the week. Enjoy.
You see the red telephone booths with no telephone from British period. You know why the doors to these telephone booths are so high? You know, they are the standard height because when they were introduced on the streets of London in the 1900s, Victorian era, men wore those cylinder